On the internet. So thanks everybody for joining us. Okay, we'll get started on the first item, which is the invocation and pledge of allegiance. I will turn it over to Supervisor Chukri.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for that. I sure appreciate it. It's great to have the great work of our county employees, as you know, especially when it comes to homelessness issues. And we've seen this front and center, and it's not been easy to deal with, especially given the COVID-19 crisis and just the average things that go along with having to run our Human Services campus and everything that we do. But Scott Hall, in conjunction with his great colleagues there, as well as Bruce Liggett, they just do such a stellar job for all of us. And so I've asked Scott to join us this morning in leading us in the prayer and the pledge. And Scott, we're grateful to you for all that you do, and thank you for taking the time this morning to be with us in this role.
Thank you so much, Supervisor, and I just want to take a moment to express my gratitude for all of the board's support and leadership during this time, especially as it relates to homelessness. So thank you all very much.
Great.
So please let us take a moment to acknowledge and pray.
If everybody could,
those in our community.
If everybody could please rise. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Please let us take a moment to acknowledge and pray for those in our communities that are in need. We would like to pray for those that are currently experiencing homelessness and those that are at risk of becoming homeless. Please lift up those that we are serving that are the most vulnerable during this time, and those that we serve that are in need of our help. With strong leadership and a strong community, Maricopa County can and will support people out of homelessness and support people in maintaining their housing. Today, we pray for that strength, that heart, and that wisdom. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, thank you, Scott, for all that you're doing, especially being on the front lines as you are.
Yes, thank you very much, Scott and Steve. Great pick today for invocation and pledge. I appreciate it. Okay, Ms. McCarroll, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Sellers?
Present.
Supervisor Chukri?
Present.
Supervisor Gates?
Here.
Supervisor Gallardo?
Here.
And Chairman Hickman.
Here. And before I get rolling into our next group, for those of you who are watching at home, this will first that I know of. I'm appearing up here alone, not quite alone. I have my clerk and my county manager with me, but we're far away. But it's definitely difficult when you don't have the colleagues sitting next to me. So again, I appreciate you guys so much for understanding the social distancing and understanding we need to be as safe as we possibly can to flatten this curve, and we need to lead by example. So thank you guys for joining in the entirety, but being out there, and I'm looking at you, so I hope you guys do well too, and let's all stay safe. Item number 4 is a pet showcase by Maricopa County Animal Care and Control. This is Hank. Hank is a 2-year-old Shih Tzu mix. Why did they have to put that up here right now? Because I can think of a Dumb and Dumber joke that we all got to see in that movie. Hank is
one of the best movies, by the way, Mr. Chairman. One of the best movies of all time in the sequel.
I second that motion.
Okay, I'll vote for. Hank is a little shy, not like any of you guys are, but doesn't mind getting all the attention he can. Definitely not like you guys are. Hank came to us as a stray, so we don't know a lot about him, but he will make a great addition to anyone's family. Hank will be available for adoption at 11:15 Wednesday morning, and since he is a shelter superhero, his adoption will be $300. When you adopt one of our shelter superheroes, you are helping to save the lives of up to 5 other pets. Hank's ID number is A4433034. And once again, if you're interested in adopting a pet, this is the best time in the world to do it. Shelter them as you're sheltering yourself. 602-506-7387. So thanks to Hank and all the wonderful work, unsung work that Animal Care and Control is doing during these times. We'll go on to the next part of our agenda. Fran, are there any announcements or corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I understand under the Planning and Zoning agenda, there will be a motion to continue 2 of those items, PZ3 and PZ4, which we'll take up when we get there. And under the Library District, towards the end of your agenda, I'll make a slight correction just regarding what district is involved in those items. Other than that, I don't have any other corrections.
Okay, Fran, being that this is weird and I don't have colleagues to my left or right getting my attention to stop me from doing something silly, or make sure you got projectiles, throw something at me so I can stop and hear everything so I don't make a misstep here. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So, under Planning and Development, item 5 is Northern Crossing Subdivision Assurance Agreement and Resolution. Item number 6, Infrastructure Plat of Azure Canyon Assurance Agreement and Resolution. The board will now consider items 5 and 6.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Great, Bill, thank you. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Planning and Zoning, consent agenda PZ1, Northern Crossing, PZ2, Azure Canyon. The board will now consider Planning and Zoning consent agenda items PZ1 and PZ2.
Move for approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I will now call on P&Z staff, Jen Pecorski, that's director, and Darren Gerard, deputy director. So I believe that they are attending the meeting right now, if there's any questions.
Yes, Chairman, we are on the call.
Okay. And then we will go on. I believe that these are both items that are in my district. So on PZ3, I'm just going to try to read this. Understanding the application on the PZ3, the Beth Emeth congregation. I understand that the applicant has requested a continuance until the July 22nd meeting. Is anyone willing to make the motion to continue the case to the July 22nd board hearing?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a continuance. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. On number PZ4, the Falcon request. I understand that we also received a request from the applicant in this case to continue the item to the July 22nd board hearing. I appreciate the applicant's willingness to continue because there is significant opposition to this case from the surrounding neighborhoods, which are very concerning to me. I received a letter from Luke Air Force Base saying that the applicant has addressed the concerns that Luke previously raised, and that is good news. However, it seems that more work still needs to be done in this community. That said, before I'll also say that, I wanted to make sure I touched on those items. And the applicant knows, and I think the community knows, this issue has been very difficult in our area. This getting up to our level to go from the Planning and Zoning Commission was an 8-hour meeting. So the voices of the community could be heard. I want to make sure and rest assured that this community knows that their opinions matter. I want to make sure that that community gets to talk to who they feel they need to talk to as this plan continues to be worked on. This board will not use the pandemic in order to stifle opinion. It never has. I want to be clear on that, but I appreciate the applicant's willingness to take the time and to talk to people and to talk about the project that they so desire. I also want the community to understand I drive past that piece of land every day to come home from work out at the farm. And that area was a golf course. It is so torn up now, it will never be a golf course. I hope the residents understand that. That is a golf course that will be turning into very soon a barren wasteland, waiting on some direction from both the applicant as well as this board to figure out what is the best use for that land. So I want people to understand that as they drive past that piece of land, a very sensitive portion of the county. It abuts Luke Air Force Base. And I want to make sure I do not get crossways with the U.S. Air Force or any other government entity that has significant and sure problems, but I need to find out from those governments that are around there truly what their feeling is. And if that needs to be aired out in public, that's what needs to happen. So with that, I am seeking a motion to continue this case to the July 22nd board hearing.
Mr. Chairman.
Vice
I move
Chairman.
to continue PC4 until the July 22nd meeting.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, I beat him because I can see his mouth move now, so I'm not just on the phone, so I did beat him.
We will give that second to Steve Chukri. Sorry, Steve Gallardo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So,
Horrible time.
I like to challenge the ruling of the chair.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, and thank you, Jen, for attending and being there to answer any questions of my board members. Next, we will move to statutory hearings under Clerk of the Board. We have Clerk of the Board, formation of the proposed Mesa Linda Irrigation Water Delivery District. And number 8 is a transportation, under transportation, a patent easement abandonment road file number PAB-0093. Madam Clerk, are there any written comments?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Darren Eyring is commented on the Mesa Linda IWDD. He is in favor of the creation of this district.
Okay. Is that the only comment and no others have been filed?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. That's it for the comments. The board will now consider items 7 and 8.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
Who gave the second?
Steve Chukri.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under county officers, under clerk of the board, item number 9 is the determine the sufficiency or insufficiency of protest petitions submitted against the formation of Evergreen Irrigation Water Delivery District. Before I ask for a motion to consider item number 9, I understand that Supervisor Chukri may have a motion regarding this particular agenda item. Mr. Chukri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We actually have a first of our kind. I'm sure the clerk of the board would know if this happened prior to our tenure on the board, as this current board is currently standing. However, yeah, this is a first of its kind. So this is a protest, Mr. Chairman, and it's regarding effectively the sufficiency or insufficiency of the protest that was filed, and that goes along with several signatures and everything else. All of us were sitting on this board at the time. Maybe Mr. Sellers wasn't when this first came to us in December, I want to say, of 18. However, after speaking with the clerk, after speaking with our legal counsel and the county attorney's office, it seems as though this protest is insufficient due to a lack of the proper signatures and other things that are associated with the acreage, which really represents the signatures. I might have spoken there, as required by statute. Therefore, I am going to ask my colleagues I'm going to make the motion and ask my colleagues to support it, to enter a determination of insufficiency and direct the clerk of the board to enter the final order declaring the district organized as described in this agenda item, and appoint the 3 trustees identified in the district's impact statement. That's more technical of a motion than I've ever made, probably, but Madam Clerk, I want to make sure, and Andrea, that I got it correct.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Chukri, yes, I believe the point was the board had to find insufficiency, and after a review of the petition, there was not enough acreage represented to solidify the protest.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's why I corrected myself from not signatures. It's associated with acreage.
Okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Supervisor Chukri, for working on the issue. It's new for all of us. And thank you, Fran. County officers, under Constable, 10, one-time contingency request for salary savings and adjustment. Under County Attorney, number 11, extension of funding agreement. Number 12, Maricopa County versus First Dance LLC. The board will now consider items 10 through 12.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
Great, thank you, Steve. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under Sheriff, number 13, MOU for emergency radio communications at Palo Verde Power Generating Station. Number 14, helicopter flight services agreement and land use license. Number 15, one-time addition to fleet. 16 through 18, IGAs with the cities of Mesa, Buckeye, and Phoenix. Under Treasurer, we'll skip to 19 and 22, offers on tax deeded land as listed on the agenda. So the board will now consider items 13 through 19 and 22.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Treasurer, on item 20, offer on tax deeded land parcel 159510328. 21, offer on tax deeded land parcel 231072449D. Was that an 8 or a B? That's a B? I'm sorry, the first one was a B and not an 8. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It's kind of blending there. Number 23, offer on tax deeded land parcel 30493-556. 24, offer on tax deeded land parcel 211-61-009F. I'm going to also ask, apparently on my notes, that I am to ask if there have been any additional bids.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. On these particular ones, there has been an offer, and we needed to see if there were any additional bids. I have been watching my text, and I don't believe we have received anything. I look at Nadia. We have received no additional bids regarding any of those parcels, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so we do not have any additional bids, as clearly stated by our clerk. Then the board will now consider items 20, 21, 23, and 24.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of items 20 through 24.
Thank you, Jack. Do I have a second? Go ahead.
Looks like it's excluding item 22.
Yes.
I was just going to say that.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Steve. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under county management, and there she is, Assistant County Manager Leanne Bone, sporting a beautiful black mask, if you can't see it. Number 25, Maricopa County Workforce Development Board Membership Actions. The board will now consider item 25.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Have fun with that, Leanne. County officers and departments, air quality. Number 26, grant agreement with U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. 27, amend Maricopa County Air Pollution Hearing Board manual procedures under animal care and control. 28 through 29, unrestricted and restricted donations. 30 through 34, amend IGAs with the town of Cave Creek, town of Fountain Hills, town of Guadalupe, city of Tolleson, and the town of Youngtown. The board will now consider items 26 through 34.
Move for approval.
Thank you. Supervisor Sellers?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Still under animal care and control, number 35, grant funds from the Best Friends Animal Society. Under budget office, 36, appointment of national forest fees and appropriation adjustment. 37, IGA with Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System. 38 through 39, contracts with Phoenix East Valley Partnership, Westmark. Under county administration, 40 through 41, donations of personal protective equipment. The board will now consider items 35 through 41.
Move for approval.
Thank you,
Second.
Vice Chair. And a second from Steve. Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under facilities management, 42, upgrade facilities management policy number A1920. Under finance, 43, funds, transfers, and warrants. Under human services, 44 through 50, amend IGAs and contracts with Tempe Elementary School District. 3, Town of Wickenburg, Arizona Department of Economic Security, City of Chandler, Central Arizona Shelter Services, and the City of Avondale. The board will now consider items 42 through 50.
Move for approval.
Great, thank you, Jack.
Second.
Have a second. Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Human Services, 51 through 61, amend IGA's contracts and agreements with City of Surprise, City of Scottsdale, Banner Health, Town of Guadalupe, Tempe Community Action Agency, Town of Gila Bend, City of Avondale, City of Tolleson, Community Bridges, and AZCEND, Ascend. 62 through 64, acceptance of supplemental COVID-19 funds from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The board will now consider items 51 through 64.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Thank you, Jack.
Second, Mr. Chair, with a comment.
Great. I have a motion and a second. Mr. Gates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There's a lot of items here, a lot of different agencies and municipalities that are involved. But the point is, this is Maricopa County in action and all that's going on. And again, we may not be as flashy as some of the bodies in this state and in this region, but we're doing a lot here in these items, working with partners to protect those who are being impacted by COVID-19, which is having a real impact on our community. Everybody on this, in this meeting knows that, regardless of what others may say. And this is about providing for those who are homeless in our community, those who are vulnerable. There's a lot being done by our staff. It's absolutely amazing what they're doing every day, putting their lives into this. And I just wanted to make sure that we did comment on that as we're doing our business here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Mr. Chairman, I totally agree with Supervisor Gates.
Thank you, Steve.
Well stated. Well stated, Mr. Gates.
Yes, very well. Thank you, Bill, for stating that. That sounds like that's a total unanimous group of comments from this entire board. So thank you for that. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Still under Human Services, 65 through 77. IGAs, contracts and agreements with City of Scottsdale, City of Surprise, Wildfire, Trellis, and City of Avondale, Circle the City, Ascend, Crisis Response Network, Community Bridges, Inc., Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest, Native American Connections, and New Leaf. The board will now consider items 65 through 77.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you, Steve. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Still under Human Services, 78 through 87, renew 3-year cooperation agreements with urban county municipalities, Town of Gila Bend, City of El Mirage, Town of Guadalupe, City of Litchfield Park, City of Tolleson, Town of Wickenburg, Town of Youngtown, Town of Fountain Hills, and the City of Buckeye. Number 88 is a cooperation agreement with the Town of Cave Creek. The board will now consider items 78 through 88.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers.
Second.
Second, thank you, Supervisor Gates. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Still under Human Services, 89 through 90, Maricopa County assignment of promissory notes and deeds of trust. 91 through 94, IGAs and agreements with the City of Glendale, Mesa Unified School District, Tempe Elementary School District Number 3, Chandler Unified School District. Under the Medical Examiner, amend IGA with Arizona State University. And under Parks and Recreation, number 96, donations. The board will now consider items 89 through 96.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just with a comment, what an impressive list to add to what Mr. Gates said earlier. I move for approval.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Looking for a second.
Come on, Steve. There you go.
I got a second from Supervisor Gallardo because I was watching both of them in painful silence, actually. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion, hearing none, that's a unanimous vote. Okay. Procurement Services, welcome Mr. Tyne. Thank you for wearing your mask and being here in the very last row. I appreciate it. Do some great work in there. Procurement Services, 97, Arizona at Work, Maricopa County One-Stop Operator. 98, Workers' Compensation Bill Review, Pharmacy Benefits, and Physical Therapy Services. Number 99, On-Site Clinical, Medical, and Specialty Health Services. Number 100, County Administration Building Restack Phase 2. Number 101, Painting Services. 102, IT Consulting Services for Integrated Criminal Justice Information System. 103, Publication of Public Legal Notices and Advertising. The board will now consider items 97 through 103.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Vice Chairman.
Second with a comment, Mr. Chairman.
Great. I have a second. Supervisor Chukri.
On item number 100, I know some of my colleagues, I'm sure, have questions too. This is concerning the 301 Jefferson. I just didn't know if Joy could take a few moments, and I certainly don't mean to put anyone on the spot, to discuss this. As I recall, Mr. Chairman and colleagues, Layton Construction did a phenomenal job on behalf of the county in repurposing our Madison Street Jail, and we've all witnessed that, and certainly are seeing the benefits of our command center that is set up there for to deal with this COVID-19 situation. But we've had so much interplay between things being taken off the for consideration, things being put back on as far as the construct. At $44 million, we can all admit is a lot of money. And so I just wanted to get a little bit of a background from our county manager on what this is going to entail and kind of what the dollars are being utilized for, if she would be so kind.
That is a great question, and I know that there were some other questions also from some of the other offices. So, Joy, if you could take it from here.
Well, and actually, Mr. Chairman, Reed Spalding is on the line. He had intended to give you a briefing on Monday on this, and unfortunately, as you remember, we went through till 4 o'clock that afternoon, so all of your briefings were canceled. So if I could ask him to give you the Reader's Digest version of what he was going to tell you on Monday, I think you'll have a good overview of the project, and he's prepared to do that.
Okay, Mr. Spalding, are you on the phone?
I am. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you now. Thank you, guys. With a head nod, can you hear Reed? Gotcha. Everybody's nodding their head. Go ahead, Reed.
All right, Mr. Chairman and Supervisor Chukri. Yes, glass half full, glass half empty. Difficult time to do the project, but also the perfect time to do the project in that we've probably never had the building as devoid of employees as we do right now as a consequence of teleworking. So we'd like to take advantage of that in that the project would start the first week of July, but the first couple months, the work is primarily in the mechanical shafts, in the mechanical rooms. So it would be done in the evening and very unintrusive to those employees that are in the building. However, starting in about September, that's when we would be out in the spaces, and we've come up with a very efficient, is the best way I can describe it, phasing plan, because it's obviously difficult to remodel a building while people are in the building, and obviously we've got important work that needs to be done. So we've kind of broken the building into 3 groups, and I'll be sharing with you on Monday in the briefing kind of how that construction phasing plan will work. It's essentially a big shell game, as you can imagine, moving people from one area to the other to make areas available to work in. The project will take about 18 months, again, because of the need to move people around. That obviously drags the construction schedule out a little further than everyone would like, but that's a necessity. I will say it was a very good time to bid the project. We did select Layton through the construction manager qualified process, but they bid the work on the street, and we have heard back from several contractors that it is an excellent time to bid the project, because a lot of projects have been put on hold because of all the uncertainty. So I think when you look at it, we did get a good price. We know we have a good contractor or a good construction manager in Layton based on the success we experienced in 225. I think we've messaged the project, and we'll certainly be messaging it much more through Fields Mosley in his office so that people have plenty of heads up on what, but I would say at this point, the department directors know at this point, and I think the electeds know, your other associates, when their area will be done and the time frame they'll be relocated. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Chairman?
Steve Chukri.
Thank you. Reed, you've done a remarkable job in your tenure, and you always kind of cringe when I say these numbers, but literally you've, in rebidding projects, you know my favorite one, your first one that you did, you've probably saved Maricopa County taxpayers close to $90 million. Over your tenure, which is remarkable and fantastic, and is the reason why I ran for this office. For the edification and benefit of our constituents, can you describe or just explain a little bit what restacking means and how we're moving employees out of lease space and putting them in 301?
Sure. Yes, the project will bring many of our roosters back home to the coop in the sense that we have a number of leased facilities throughout the county that we are obviously paying landlords to occupy those spaces. And I think even with the consolidation that we're seeing as a result of teleworking, we're going to achieve the ability to shed ourselves of about $5 million a year in lease liability by bringing environmental services, air quality, and planning and development, our three largest permitting agencies, to one central location on the ground floor of the 301 building, which I think will result in much improved customer service. Saying that, we're also being very successful as a consequence of COVID in online permitting. So that's all, every indicator in terms of improved customer service is pointing in the positive direction right now. A lot more folks using online permitting, but those folks that will never be able to use online permitting, they'll now be able to come to one central location for all their permitting needs. And I think that's a tremendous benefit because many projects do involve septic, stormwater, obviously building permits. So it touches many different departments, even a dust permit. So all in one location. And then, like I said, just more efficiencies in terms of also upgrading our building for technology. Our building was built in the 80s, I believe, and obviously the technology needs have changed tremendously since then. They continue to. So this will allow that to happen in our building, be a little bit more technology savvy. And then just general meeting spaces. We are always pressed for meeting space in the building. We'll be creating essentially a conferencing center open to all county agencies on the second floor. So again, I think it's time. I think the modernization is needed, and I think it will definitely result in improved customer service as well as improved employee space.
So, Mr. Chairman, in rounding this out, here's what you look at from a business standpoint, right? So if any one of us were going to go refinance our house and they said you can get a lower rate if you pay 1 point, you're going to factor out how long does it take you to make that money up, right? How long until you can really capture the pure savings of the lower interest rate? It isn't worth paying the point. So that's what Reed's describing here in a tangential way, in that if we're saving $5 million a year plus, it's going to be just roughly 8 years before we get our money back that we're spending here in this one agenda item. And that doesn't include the efficiencies and everything else that are going to come together. The updating of the building, the value of the building that we currently own is going to increase too. So very seldom I'm not trying to belabor this meeting. You're doing a great job, Mr. Chairman, at 10:17 to get through as much as we have. But I think it's so important for all of us to understand and to make sure that our constituency understands that this is good governance. Mr. Gates said it earlier. This is yet just another example. And I think this is flashy, Bill, that we're able to do what we're doing and save money. This is business at work. And I applaud Reed and his team and Joy and her team as well. So I know we motioned and seconded it. I don't want to go on any further, but I'm very grateful for this work on this item.
Great. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just a couple.
Yes, please.
The first thing I wanted to confirm kind of what led us to this point, and that is the county attorney moving out of our building. Is this a Joy and Reed? Is that accurate now that the civil division of the county attorney's office has now moved into moved in with the rest of the county attorneys? Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman,
That is correct.
Supervisor
Gates. Move occurred on June 18th and 19th. So yes, they are all now one in the 225 building, which obviously has tremendous efficiencies as well.
That's fantastic. And then anything as far as plans for that space that has been freed up then in the security building?
Well, again, we have become the masters of the shell game. Right now, we are going to be starting the move of the assessors folks, which are in the Santa Fe building, to that vacated space in the security building, so that we can move the Unified Command Center and the JIC, the Joint Information Center, into the Santa Fe building, because we need to return that ground floor space in the 225 building to the county attorney's office. That was their media center and their training rooms that we've been so graciously they've let us occupy now for the last several months. But we really need to get that group out of there. We know that the Unified Command Center and JIC will be, unfortunately, necessary for at least probably the next year to 18 months. And so the space that was created by the civil group moving out will allow us to move the Unified Command Center into a much more suitable standalone space that will benefit everyone.
Great. And Reed, you had commented on the increasing number of permits that are now being submitted virtually. I mean, a significant increase, I think maybe over 80% now in the last couple of months. Given that dramatic change, do you anticipate any changes in the new permit counter in that we're discussing here on this item?
We don't really anticipate changes to the permit counter other than the application of some very appropriate sneeze guards that we started to obviously place in all of our front counter face-to-face operations. But we do anticipate picking up valuable space. Again, we see probably some teleworking continuing beyond the COVID experience that we're all enjoying, and that as a result of that success in teleworking, I think we're going to pick up some growth space and some much needed future space, if you will, in the 301 building after the restack is over. And keep in mind that all of our space, whether it's the old space or the remodeled space, government space is pretty much a combination of private offices and cubicles. So the space that we pick up is not in any way, shape, or form what I would call custom space. It can be repurposed and utilized by any existing or future user in government. It is very typical space, if you will.
Excellent. Well, just testament to you and your team for being able to shift on the fly here with the changes that are happening literally day by day. And sounds like it's going to be of even more benefit to the county and the taxpayers. So thanks, Reed.
Thank you.
Any more questions or comments for Reed? I just wanted to let you guys know also, first of all, Larry, your technical, I might have to get technical about your putting roosters back in coops. That's not a good thing for the hens that work there. And you used shell game. Are you doing any of these on purpose for me right now?
I am indeed. I'm making sure you're at the top of your game, which you certainly are.
Okay.
Another perk of being chairman. Another perk of being chairman.
Oh my. Number two, I just want to also say that because you guys can't see it, when you were talking about the Layton contract and so many people just take a quick look at the 1 second sound by employing someone, $24 million. What's the county doing with the money? Thank you for fleshing that out, Steve and Bill and all of you guys. We've all had questions, but one thing I wanted to tell you is as you were talking about, I was looking at Kevin Tyne. And when you were talking about contracts, I was just looking at him and he was nodding like, what kind of process this has to go through. And that's a lot of work from the procurement office. So thank you also, Kevin, because this is a quickly spinning world. Joy, again, good government. I'm looking at Kevin, listening to Reed, fantastic job on picking solid business people to help us through these issues. At last, when it comes to the restack on the political side, thank you very much again, County Attorney Alistair Adele and Eddie Cook, the assessor, because without their help, they could put their hands up and say, now that I have the space, you're not coming. But look how they responded to this pandemic and made allowances to move their people from their jobs and put them into available spaces so we can continue to do that job that the JIC is undergoing, and the emergency services, of course, public health. Just incredible professional job with it in turbulent times. So thank you all for working that extra bit harder to keep the county on top of where we need to be. So thanks to all of you for that. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I just got handed a note, so maybe we need to go. I'm not quite sure. Are we good? Okay, because something came up on the agenda and it looks like it can be fixed within the A5.
Mr. Chairman, yes, when we get there, there is a small correction to one of the items on the addendum.
On the addendum, okay. I didn't know if we need to go backwards, so we just haven't heard it yet. Okay, so we'll hit that part when we get to it. All right. Next up, Public Health, number 104, amend hospital training affiliation agreement with Honor Health. 105 and 106, affiliation agreements with Phoenix Children's Hospital, Scottsdale Unified School District. Number 107, purchase order for contract with Arizona Department of Health Services. Under real estate, under number 108 is a resolution to approve design for Arizona Department of Transportation improvements and delegate authority to the Director of Real Estate. The board will now consider items 104 through 108.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now, under real estate, number 109 is the Arizona Public Service Company utility easement. This item will require a unanimous roll call vote. The board will consider item 109.
Move for approval of item 109.
Thank you, Jack. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Steve.
In your district,
It was Shukri's turn, but he dropped the ball, so I had to step in.
in his district, Mr. Chairman, I was trying to be courteous.
I'm sorry, I knew that one of you Steves had to do it. Okay, do I need to clarify who made the motion in the second?
Mr. Chairman, I believe it was Mr. Sellers and Mr. Gallardo.
That's what I heard as well. Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Sellers.
Aye.
Supervisor Chukri.
Aye.
Supervisor Gates.
Aye.
Supervisor Gallardo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hickman.
Aye, thank you. Okay, under real estate, 110, the City of Phoenix temporary construction easement. The board will now consider item 110, and this item also requires a unanimous roll call vote.
Move for approval of item number 110.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Second.
Second from Steve Chukri. So I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Sellers.
Aye.
Supervisor Chukri.
Aye.
Supervisor Gates.
Aye.
Supervisor Gallardo.
Aye.
And Chairman Hickman.
Aye, thank you. Moving on to transportation, 111 and 112, new traffic controls, 113 through 118, IGAs with the City of Goodyear, City of Mesa, Salt River, Pima, Maricopa Indian Community, and City of Mesa, City of Surprise and City of Glendale, City of Goodyear and City of Glendale, City of Goodyear. Number 119 is a resolution for purchase of disposed property. 120 is administrative correction to contract with TriStar Engineering and Management. And number 121, easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents. The board will now consider items 111 through 121.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
That's a close one. Fran, who was that?
Photo finish.
It was Mr. Chukri.
Oh, she gives it to Mr. Chukri.
Well, there are a lot of District 4 items here. I had a couple of District 2s, so Mr. Gates has me beat in that regard. I apologize, Bill.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Board of Supervisors, and this just says Board of Supervisor. Does that mean I have ultimate power because I'm here and they're
I
not?
apologize for the typo. We'll add an S when we get to the minutes.
Thank you. Okay. Item 122, appointment to the Board of Health. 123 to 124, reappointments to Self-Insured Risk Trust Fund Board of Trustees, the Community Development Advisory Committee. Number 125 is resignation from the Maricopa County Planning and Zoning Commission. The board will now consider items 122 through 125.
Move for approval of items 122 through 125.
Thank you, Jack.
Second, with the comment, Mr. Chair.
Great, I have a second. Supervisor Gates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One of the items here we have is an appointment to the Board of Health and is the Board of Supervisors representative on the Board of Health. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew the great work that the Board of Health has been doing throughout this pandemic. Leanne Bones sends an update to the members of the Board of Health who are folks in our community, both medical professionals, business people in the community. And these folks on the Board of Health are following along with what this county is doing on a daily basis. Many of the members, I can just speak to a couple of my appointees to the Board of Health, Scott Seeley and Dr. Paul Stander, have been actively engaged helping to get resources to the Board of Health. Dr. Stander, I've reached out to him on many times to get his personal advice to buttress what our folks in public health are doing. And I'm just so grateful to our members of the Board of Health. They've been fantastic throughout the past few months here.
Thank you for pointing that out, Bill. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Steve Chukri.
I've got 3 comments regarding these items. First and foremost, Mr. Gates, Robin Schaefer, you are going to enjoy as your future colleague on the Board of Health. She's just a magnificent and has a great enthusiasm with her to bring to that committee. So I'm grateful to Robin. I'm also grateful to Marshall Hunt and Kevin Medina, who are being reappointed to the CDA. And lastly, Brock Hyatt, who's just a quality individual. Ironically, lived 2 doors down from my mom for many, many years. And he has been on this Planning and Zoning Commission since 2009. And just a great guy. So I'm very grateful to Brock, all around super individual, and really was deliberate in his tenure, but just got too busy with his church obligations and his business to be able to continue it going forward. So I wanted to make sure I gave all of those individuals a shout out, Mr. Chairman, and of course, thank them for their service.
Great, thank you. And
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Bill.
Yeah, I apologize. And I failed to mention as well that I'm grateful for Tom Katsinas' willingness to continue to serve on the Self-Insured Risk Trust Fund Board of Trustees. We had a chance to catch up recently, and he's doing great work along with all the members of that. So grateful for him. And of course, as I think all of us know, he comes from a great family who do so much in this community. And so, again, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that as well.
Great. Thank you. And speaking for the others, this is why just it's so important to have a citizens government of people that we know, that we can trust, that are in these positions. You mentioned the Board of Health. My appointee, Kristen Acton, is as a nurse that is keeping me apprised of the true cost of this pandemic and what it's looking like on the floors of some hospitals. So we have we have eyes there, at least I do. And I'm sure that we are hearing from other people in the community with real eyes on this, also to help us frame decisions that we need to make as a county. So thank for all of you, and all these positions are so important in a citizens government. So thank you for that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under setting of hearings, planning and development, 126, planning and zoning cases, 127 through 132 under transportation, road files is listed in the agenda. Number 133 through 136, patent easement abandonment, also as listed in the agenda. The board will now consider items 126 through 136.
Move for approval.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Certainly not in District 5.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. When you guys don't pipe up, I'm looking at all of your individual backgrounds, and some of you guys need some work and some of you don't. I'll let you guess who that is. Steve Gallardo. Consent agenda.
I'm pacing myself.
Clerk of the board, 137, donations. 138, duplicate warrants. 139, minutes. 140 to 143, mail ballot elections for the new Magma Irrigation and Drainage District, Western Meadows Irrigation District, Queen Creek Irrigation District, Broadland Ranches, Greenfield IWDD number 39. 144 is the RICO Funds Quarterly Report. And number 145 is secured and unsecured tax roll corrections. The board will now consider items 137 through 145.
Move for approval of items 137 through 145.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers.
Second.
And second, thank you, Steve Chukri. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Clerk of the Board, number 146, stale dated warrants. 147, Treasurer's Collection and Investment Summary for May 2020. Number 148, settlement resolution of property tax cases and claims. The board will now consider items 146 through 148.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you both of you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under the addendum, I'll just leave A5 off for a second so we can get through the others. Madam Clerk, is that okay?
I believe it is is it A5? Yes.
Yes, let's hold off on that one then. So, under Board of Supervisors, A1, CARES Act expenditures. Under elections, A2, adopt a resolution for the August primary election. A3, appointment of election boards. Under Assistant County Manager Leanne Bone, A4 is CARES Act funding budget reconciliation. We will skip A5 and we'll go to A6, agreements between Maricopa County Board of Supervisors and the Workforce Development Board. Do I have a motion?
Chairman, I move for approval of items A1 through A4 and item A6.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill Gates. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, we will now go back to item A5. A quick question, would Leanne Bone, would she like to come up? Does she need to talk about that or with my board?
Is that microphone live?
And she might not even need to give a presentation, but it's nice to get her under the hot seat occasionally. So Leanne is stepping to the microphone about A5, Small Business Support Program.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I apologize. We found a typo as we were sitting here in the audience. We were putting this document together, kind of still making changes yesterday. There's a reference to one of the required documents being I-9. It should say actually W-9. It's really just intended to ensure the tax identification number is accurate.
Great. Yeah, I-9 is something completely different. So W-9 is so very good. There will be that item changed. Is there any questions from my board because we are changing a small thing, but a big thing? No questions from the board? Okay. Item A5. Board will now consider item A5. Looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of item A5 as modified.
Thank you very much.
Second.
And thank you, Bill Gates. I have a motion and a second as modified. So motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And Leanne, thank you for your work on that document. That took a while, but we should expect things like that to pop up. Go ahead, Steve Gallardo.
Thank you. I'm sorry, just a quick comment or question in regards to A5. Can we anticipate, as supervisors, can we anticipate kind of updates as this program starts to be rolled out and when folks start applying, at least to get an idea of what, how many businesses are actually taking advantage of it or nonprofits and kind of just seeing the status of it as it moves down the road there, as the process starts? Is that something, I don't know how difficult that is. I know we're working with a third party to actually administer it, but is there a way for us to just, maybe it's something we could talk about later, I guess.
No, that's a good question. We're all gathered here right now. I'm bringing Leanne back up so we can answer that particular question, because I know it's been a lot of fast work, as much diligent study that we can do about it, but we need to make sure if we're going to put funds into the community, we need to make sure that they're being spent right, and we need to see how the world evolves with that. So, Leanne.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Gallardo. The intention of the program is for the grant period to be July 6th through July 31st. We do understand that there may need to be some amendments to that, but the plan would be to get regular reports on the businesses that are submitting applications, those that are successful and those that are not, so that if we need to tweak marketing along the way, we have that ability.
Great. So we're good. How does that answer your question, Steve? Because we
Oh, definitely. I think, Mr. Chairman, we have all spoken to small businesses in our various districts, and District 5 is no different. I've had a number of conversations with many of the small businesses, and I've heard all the different horror stories that they've gone through the PPP program and how frustrating it has been on some of the businesses. But, we have some great businesses throughout Maricopa County. Unfortunately, because of COVID, they had to close their doors. And the federal government had said, hey, here's some funding to local governments to help not only take care of some of the crisis, but issues on the health side, but also to support some of our small businesses throughout Maricopa County. So I think this is a very important program. I know a lot of folks are watching and seeing how this gets rolled out. I would just be very comfortable to be able to have some type of update as this program moves down the rail there, just to make sure it's really going the way the board intended it to go.
Great. And I think the whole board would agree with that. There should be some constant updates. This is a new area for us, and we should be updated as much as possible as we talk to the community. So if there's no other questions, we will move on to the next item. Okay. Thank you, Luann, for coming back up. Under addendum, air quality. A7, administrative correction to agreement with Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. The board will now consider item A7.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Sellers. And a second by, did I hear Steve Chukri?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will now recess as the Board of Supervisors and convene as the Improvement District Board of Directors. Under the Improvement District, I-1 minutes. The board will now consider item I-1.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
Thank you, Bill. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will now adjourn as the Improvement District Board of Directors and convene as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. Under Flood Control District, F1, minutes. F2, CARES Act funding budget reconciliation. F3, easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents. The board will now consider items F1 through F3.
Move for approval of items F1 through F3.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
And thank you, Bill. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Great. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will now adjourn as the Flood Control District Board of Directors and convene as the Library District Board of Directors. Under Library District, L1, donations. L2, minutes. L3 to L4, IGAs with the town of Guadalupe. Gila Bend Unified School District. L5, CARES Act funding budget reconciliation. L6, grant and aid from the Arizona State Library. The board will now consider items L1 through L6.
Mr. Chairman, just very quickly,
One second, Jack, I'm sorry. Fran is guiding us here. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, just a small correction on two of the items here, L3 and L4, which have to do with IGAs with Guadalupe and Gila Bend. This needs to be corrected in the agenda that these are in District 5. It's noted as District 1, so that's a correction.
Okay, so we're calling you out. Steve, would you like to make a motion, being that these are in your district?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Has there been a motion to move it?
Not yet.
For the second.
I stopped Jack. I stopped Jack. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I'd like to make the motion that we approve item L1 through L6, but I do want to make a quick comment in regards to L4 when we have a second.
Okay, and that's with the modification as Fran. Okay, good. Go. Let me look for a second. Let me look for a second real quick. Do I have? Okay, second from Steve Chukri. Okay, go right ahead, Steve.
No, I just, in regards to L4, this is the IGA with Gila Bend. I just want to thank the library, Cindy, and the entire staff there at the library district for their work with Gila Bend. Gila Bend, as we know, it's kind of remote out there. I always refer to my little diamond in the rough there. You have a small community, around 2,000 people, a lot of generations of families there, and with limited services, unfortunately. So the school district really depends on our library district to work together to make sure that the services are provided to not only the students, but the family. Just basic internet access is what they're asking for, and the ability to go and grab a book during the summer times and all that good stuff. So I just want to thank Cindy and the entire staff with the library district for the work they do out there at Gila Bend. We have office hours there in Gila Bend, and they've always been so gracious and been great to work with. So I just want to give them a quick shout out.
Thank you. And for every time you bring up Gila Bend, I think of Aguila as well, with those libraries as being almost a community hub for those small communities. So thank you, Cindy, for all the work you do for not just the ones in interior Maricopa County, but the far-flungs as well. So I appreciate your comments, Steve. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will now adjourn as the Library District Board of Directors and convene as the Stadium District Board of Directors. Under Stadium District, item S1, minutes. The board will now consider item S1.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will now adjourn as the Stadium District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. Under Board of Supervisors, item number 149 is the public comment period. Fran, do you have anything to report regarding public comment, either on here, which I don't see anybody, or on the internet, or on emails?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, yes, it is very different in this environment, but we've had a number of people send emails under something that we set up called agenda comments. And so we have approximately 25 people who have sent comments related to animal care and control. All of the comments will be printed and given to all of the board offices. Basically, the comments under animal care and control have dealt with transparency in the hiring of a new director, comments regarding a request for a citizens committee. There are concerns that the euthanasia list seems to be growing. There are concerns about the movement of animals into the New Hope program. And there are questions related to plans for the East Valley shelter. So all of those will be printed and given to your offices. The other comments that we have received, there are approximately 5 or 6 people who have commented about the concerns about the fires, and that our area seems to be so dry, and we've had many fires. And so they are asking for a ban on fireworks, although some of them have commented how they want to celebrate Independence Day, but they're asking if there could be a ban on fireworks because of the extreme fire danger or until this extreme fire danger is passed. And so the comments all fell into those two categories for this meeting.
Okay, noted, which is noted, and I know that you will be printing out those comments for each individual district so we can take a look at those and see if there's something that we can give some guidance on or talk about with our county manager. So I appreciate it. Any other comments?
Those were the two categories of comments that we received.
Okay, and are there any hands waving through the internet? Is Deb monitoring that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Clerk, yes, we are monitoring that, and we have shared with the clerk all of the comments that have been made online during the meeting.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I just want our people that might be watching this meeting knowing that it's important and we're monitoring everything to make sure people are being heard. So I appreciate it. Okay then, with no further comments, we will move to item 150, which is the supervisor's summary of current events. And I will first go to Joy because she's here. Joy, do you have anything?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I will go in the way I see you on my screen. So I will go to my vice chair, Jack Sellers. Jack.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll just mention a couple of things pretty quickly. I attended a webinar called Community Health System Without Walls. And basically, they were talking about dealing with this pandemic, but keeping our focus on where we want to end up when we get past this. And I have to tell you, I was so pleased with everything we're doing at the county because it fits with the things they were recommending that people do to not only deal with the pandemic, but prepare for the future once you get past this. So congratulations to everybody in the staff and my colleagues. I was very pleased with what we're doing based on what they were recommending. The other thing I'll mention quickly is I also serve on the Regional Public Transit Authority, and we passed a requirement that people riding on public transit be required to wear a mask on Thursday, the day before we passed the requirement of the county. It's interesting to me that all of the news media now, when they talk about public transit, say because of the county's requirement, public transit now is requiring a mask. And we actually passed the requirement for public transit prior to Maricopa County's requirement. So, but at any rate, I think that we're headed in the right direction. We really need to be doing what we can to control this pandemic and keep from having much more significant consequences if we don't address some of these things. So thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for those comments. Steve Chukri.
Mr. Chairman, nothing other than to just thank our public health team, the work they're doing, everyone associated with them, our emergency services. If it's not a train fire, and if it's not a forest fire, wildfire, it's or dealing with this pandemic, it has been one hit after the other. I agree with Supervisor Sellers that there's a lot of misinformation going on about what happened. And look, the public health, we all took an oath, and it's important, and that we abide by that oath and try to protect the public as best we see fit. Other elected officials have been taking jabs and let them. But I think Mr. Gates said it very well on Friday. We're taking a leadership role, and we're going to do the best we can to have to live with COVID in Maricopa County until there is a vaccine or there is a cure. And so I'm grateful to all of you for the work we've been able to accomplish, and more so grateful to our public health team in Maricopa County for the tireless efforts they've exhibited the many months that we've been dealing with this pandemic.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Bill Gates.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to echo the comments that Supervisor Chukri just made about the mask issue. And it's true, some elected officials have taken shots at us, but there's also a lot who've stepped up and thanked us for our actions. And in particular, Supervisor Chukri and I both represent together the town of Paradise Valley. And we received a very nice letter from Mayor Jerry from Paradise Valley thanking us not only for the actions there, but also thanking our public health team for the assistance they've provided there. So that's much appreciated, and wanted to make sure that we recognized all those municipalities that have been partnering with us on this effort, because that's what it takes. We all have to be working together. A couple other things real quickly. Just wanted to thank the folks who invited me to participate in the Bridge Forum yesterday at American Legion Post 65, which was a conversation about something that we talked about here on this board recently, the interaction between law enforcement and our communities, particularly people of color. And I just wanted to really thank the county for stepping up at that event. We had the Sheriff Paul Penzone was there, our county attorney Alistair Adele was there, and just a great opportunity to participate in the discussion with some of our faith leaders, Pastor Stewart and others. So again, that's a conversation that I know all of my colleagues want to continue here at the county, and I look forward to that in the weeks and months ahead. And then finally, I have to give a huge shout out to all of our firefighters across the region, but in particular, our partners with the Daisy Mountain Fire District. Again, Mr. Chair, thank you for reaching out to me yesterday with the Aquila fire yesterday, really tore through my area in District 3. And both Chief Tobin and Brian Moore, the chair of the Daisy Mountain Fire District, I thank both of them for reaching out to me. We were in contact last night. Fortunately, they've been able to put that fire down, but we did have several structures lost. We had incredible, the community came together, getting horse trailers. As you know, we got a lot of horse property out there, getting those horses out of there. Anthem was impacted. Everyone just came together. And I can't believe the number of fires that we've had to deal with. And that's why I'd be remiss if I didn't remind everyone with the 4th of July coming up, be so careful with the fireworks out there, folks. I mean, this is no joke. We are in a tinderbox right now. And as well, want to thank Maricopa County Emergency Management, who's been all over all these fires. The bush fire over in Supervisor Chukri's area. We had the Central Fire, also started in District 3 and then moved northward. It just unbelievable challenge that these firefighters are tackling head on. That Aquila fire yesterday, it was a 5-alarm fire. We had 250 firefighters who came together from across Maricopa County to put that thing out. So I just can't say enough about the incredible work that's being done. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great, Bill. Thank you. And I'm glad. I heard that as they were fighting other fires, because we had those planes up with fire suppressant, they just diverted from where they're heading to go to where the people are, and it was able to put it out that much quicker. So how one fire fighting can lead to putting one out that's even in a more sensitive area. All areas are sensitive, but when you start talking about animal, human life, the economics of houses and things to get them rebuilt, I couldn't be happier that all of the fire crews came together and got that thing out, including a Department of Corrections fire team that was up there. So good on all of the citizens for getting that thing out before there was even more devastation. So thank you for bringing that up. Steve Chukri. I'm sorry, Steve Gallardo. Wrong Steve. Sorry, Steve. You look so much alike. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to echo some of the comments that have been made already real quickly. Just a big thanks to our public health experts. COVID-19 has just been on the minds of everybody over the last 3 months and continues. We are battling a pandemic. One of the news outlets out here, I think it's 3TV. I want to say it's 3TV, puts out a list of the top 10 zip codes in the state, the entire state, top 10 zip codes that have the highest number of positive cases. And you look at that list, it starts off with number 1, it's San Luis. Arizona, out there near Yuma. Then it's Yuma County, and then number 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's Maryville, South Phoenix, Central Phoenix, and then it goes on to the rest of the portions of the state, which really shows that there's a lot of work that needs to happen out here in District 5. Anything from just the education side, I think education is huge. You're dealing with language barriers. You're dealing with folks that may not be so trustworthy of some of the governmental agencies out there. There's a whole variety of issues there. So I think our office has noticed it for the last 3 weeks, and we are working real closely with a lot of our nonprofits, a lot of our school districts. I had a couple of conversations with some of our superintendents. Not only are they dealing with how they might or might not open up come August 4th, but how they're dealing with some of the parents and some of the students that are affected by COVID from a health side. Many of my families, they have a lot of trust with our school districts. So our office relies a lot on our school districts to help convey that message. But we just need to continue to remind folks, the stay at home when you can, the social distancing, and definitely wear a mask. You definitely got to wear a mask. And it's the word's getting out there. They're having a testing, a free testing site out here in Maryville, right here on 67th and in Cano. And there's already 1,000 people that have signed up for the testing. They've already maxed out. And I think if they were able to do another 1,000, they could easily do another 1,000. So I think people are really being cautious. We just have to continue that message. We're all in this together. And at the end of the day, we'll, if we all abide by the CDC guidelines and wear our masks and social distance, we're all going to be okay. So I just want to real quickly just thank our public health professionals and everyone at the Maricopa County that has been working, the 8:30 conference calls that you guys have, and everyone's doing a great job. So we're not out of the woods, but we'll eventually get there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Great. So just a couple comments. Number one, this is very nice. Thank you for the setup for the tech team and Fran. I get to see you guys as we go through these agenda items. But nothing beats having you up here with me. I know that all of you wish you could be there up here showing the citizens that you are leading by leading with me up here, but you're leading by example, that where we are trying to personally space away from each other and keep each other safe. So I appreciate that. I think this worked very well, but I'm looking forward to having a full dais up here as fast as we can. 2, this was already a long meeting for us. There's a lot of things to cover, but we have more coming up, so please make sure your chiefs are participating. We took a vote that is trying to run the best election that we can to submit the best plan, and we still need a little bit more time to get those contracts in and signed. So we'll, in order to bless those contracts, we need to make sure that we talk about that. And then now we are coming up in the later part of June, almost July, and this primary is going to be held on August 4th or 5th, I guess. But so be prepared for that. I'd like your attendance on that meeting, of course, and I know that you want to as well. But last but certainly not least, yes, it is very difficult to talk to every individual in the community that might have a different opinion about our mask mandate. And I'm trying to get out there. I know you guys are trying to get out there. It's for every critic or criticism, we're probably getting 10 or 15 that say thank you for doing what you did. But we focus on we do a lot and focus on the criticism because we all think that makes us better. So I'm going to just point out to the community, the masks that I'm wearing. We bring our skills to this board as businessmen and hopefully leaders in the political realm. This mask has been used now for 10 years at our business. This mask is used because avian influenza has been floating around this country for 10 years. And our masks are people that wear these in barns are solely for biosecurity. It is not, we don't put the little chickens in the mask. We put our people in masks for us to protect them. And we can dictate that as a business. We have that ability. If you want to work in the barns and qualify for your job, you need to wear a mask to protect our hens. I think anybody can agree with things where a business puts there to protect their own people and their own workers. In this case, those workers are the chickens that are producing eggs. So this side of the mask, I need the community. I think the community needs to view this as what I've touched on before. Think of this as a seat belt. And this is the seat belt that we've asked people to wear so our economy doesn't crash and we don't crash the ability to put people in ICU beds. All of us are getting that same information from the nurses and the doctors that we know. People have asked me, hey, defend the numbers. We are statutorily required to listen to our public health, to get numbers as they come into us every day, and to make decisions to protect the public health. This is wearing a seatbelt to me. So please wear the mask and protect the people around you, not just yourself. So with that, it's been a long day already, or a long morning. I appreciate your help. I know that we are unified in so many of these different things that we do. It's important to me for all of our districts. And thank you guys for joining me today, and be prepared for a meeting next week. And with that, we are adjourned.